While I was watching this episode, around the midway point where Kyoya confronts Nana about if they had a fight, that would have been like the perfect way to leave us off on a cliffhanger if this content came towards the end of the episode. That's why I was kind of shocked, because I was like, that's the perfect way to end the episode, making anime onlys wonder what happened. Did Michiru spill the beans? Does Michiru know that Nana's the killer? Does now Kyoya know? How is she going to get out of this predicament? And then they top what could have been a very good cliffhanger with something that's seemingly 10 times better. Michiru either dead in the bath or dying. It's hard to say. Honestly, I don't think I could easily predict what's going to happen here, because I could totally see Michiru dying in this situation, but I could also see her dying in a different one, and I don't know what to lean on. And the fact that at episode 11, I'm still unsure where to put my eggs in which basket when they present me a choice like this. Honestly, this show just entertains me. I think walking into this episode, I wasn't really sure what to expect, because the introduction of a second killer, while you knew there was going to be some form of interrogation and you knew that there was going to be a lot of questioning, I kind of expected that Nana and Kyoya would sort of work together, because both have a motive to figure out like what the hell is going on here. Kyoya unsure, can he really trust her? Nana wondering who the hell is like her competition, does she have to worry about her own life? But the idea of how they went about the interrogation and kind of like learning all the characters' abilities, one of which has such a ridiculous power that honestly might be one of the first powers that I can say could live up to like a 1,000,000 kill count or something like that. The idea that she can like take the atmosphere into her own powers, and apparently she needs ventilation to do so, which does look a little suspicious with the window being open. So it's a matter of who can you really say is the killer, but I don't think there's anything in this episode that you could 100% say this means they're the killer. I feel like it could have been someone we haven't seen yet, could have been someone that we're not expecting. Hell, it could have been Jin himself for all we know. I think the idea of this interrogation was more for the characters rather than the viewer, because watching the episode, it puts so much focus on the killer, puts so much focus on the idea that, you know, it's gotta be someone in this room, it's gotta be someone with a motive. Apparently these band of misfits were having a pep talk last night, so it couldn't have been them unless they're all lying in a part of it, which seems pretty unlikely, all things considered. So therefore it has to be the girlfriend, who apparently was soon to be ex-girlfriend based on how popular this guy was with all the ladies. Pretty solid motive, I mean, if you think about it. Someone who's been with him since they were little, now is feeling like she's being disposed of, apparently has an alibi that most likely checks out but easily could have been forged. So that would make sense in terms of her doing so. This is a guy that apparently has the ability to shrink super small, so there's no way that a sneak attack should have got him. So the idea of slitting his throat, having the window open, the insects, I think it's very unnerving is probably the best way to put it. Because this is so different than how Nana would kill people, so the idea of it not only not linking up to how Nana's probably been killing from Kyoya's perspective probably indicates to him there's more than one killer on this island, but at the same time he's not probably convinced of that fact, so this might just be a good opportunity to get on Nana's good side, so if anyone starts questioning him more, then he has a good alibi and witness to kind of back his morale and things like that. So I think it was really fun watching this whole sequence play out, even before crazy twists and turns. Because even last week, we had Michiru sitting up and staring out the window for a long period of time, looking like either she knew something or honestly it just felt like was she the killer or something like that as far as we knew, because we had Nana sleeping, Michiru was apparently wide awake all night, who knows what could have happened. And while watching this episode, I was firmly getting into the suspicion row of Michiru not being who she was. Michiru being someone who maybe came from a similar situation as Nana herself. And I think this was done intentionally. It was supposed to make you very much question this very bubbly and perfect girl who at one point we thought was a crazy lunatic. It just so happened to be Jin in a different form. So the idea of watching the episode and once again planting the seeds of doubt, it would have been the perfect opportunity. You bait and switch us once with Michiru being a good person to evil person, but then realizing she's good. It'd be the perfect opportunity to shock us with her actually killing someone. We wouldn't see it coming. But I did have those doubts. I did have those seeds of suspicion. So watching the episode really go back and forth and really kind of siding with Nana, probably some of the most I have, where she starts bringing up the concept of, hey, you know, after you graduate, where do you want to go? You know, I want to be a doctor. Oh, you want to go to school? Come live at my home. My mom and dad would welcome you with open arms. And then the ferocity coming from Nana being like, you know, I just told you about my parents and you bring up this shit. I was just wondering, I was like, what is she trying to do? Either A, she's a killer, or B, she knows Nana is clearly in the wrong. She's done something, or maybe she's starting to piece together clues. So when you enter her home where you're like, okay, we're in her room now, she's having a shower. Either A, she's in the shower and she's waiting to jump Nana, or 2, honestly, Michiru's not even here and someone set up that shower to lure her and try to kill her. That was my honest prediction. So reading the diary, I was like, okay, here we go. We're going to get some dirt, we're going to get something. And just to see the pureness, to see how untainted Michiru is, to just get that slap across the face, both for the viewer and Nana, that this girl has no malicious intent, this girl has no bad bone in her body, she just wants to be friends with her. Which is, I still have my questions. I still have my questions about the window scene. Why was she looking out all night? Was she honestly just worried about Nana? It's very hard to say. But to just see that build up and then to see Jin being like, kind of like that mockery, being like, how could you ever doubt her? She's the purest on this island. And you just get this kind of shattering realization that there's just so many manipulations happening at once. Kyoya is kind of attempting his own. There's this new murderer. We got Jin. And we just don't know who's ultimately going to win at this point, because early on it felt like Nana had this kind of in the bag, no questions asked. And now we don't know who this extra killer is. Is it an actual enemy of humanity? Could that actually be something? Is there some sort of creature we don't know about? And maybe the humans were just making it up to basically scare the talentless to kill the talented, but there actually is some sort of creature that the talentless and talented are going to have to team up to deal with? It's hard to say, but to just see her seemingly lifeless body in that tub, it very much is unnerving, and she very well could be dead there. And that's what this episode did very well, is it constantly had you doubting in what you were seeing. We're so used to seeing the kill before the characters do, so we know, okay, this is us watching, trying to figure out how these characters are going to respond, and if Nana can squeeze out of this once again. But walking into a situation where we know damn well she didn't do it, and now we had to start wondering, okay, before we just looked at all these characters as anime tropes outside of Jin as well as Kyoya, because her and the others were pretty much the only real characters. The rest were anime personalities, anime tropes. But then you enter this episode and you start watching it and you're wondering, is this a facade? Is this like Nana's facade? What is going on? And that's what this episode did so well, is having you doubt in everything and watching Nana doubt in herself, unsure of what to feel, and then realizing that the one person she really does care for and trust now seemingly is dead in a bathtub. And honestly, I don't know how episodes 12 and 13 are gonna go. I feel like Michiru's probably gonna die if she hasn't already, but it's a matter of who the traitor and next killer is, and I don't know. This was a very interesting episode. It's one of the more uniquely structured ones because it puts us in such a peculiar situation that we're not used to dealing with, so it really has us doubting in things the same way Kyoya's been doubting ever since he started suspecting that it could be Nana. Great episode once again, thrilling, adventurous, it had so much going on for it, and honestly, I couldn't tell you with a straight face who I think is behind this. The sky's the limit. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. What did you think, and where do you think it might go next week? If you enjoyed the video, of course, if you like, share your support, hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.